What's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about the new Snow White remake. This is actually done by the Daily Wire, and according to the Hollywood Reporter, they are doing this because they are trolling Disney. That it's hilarious, and it's even more hilarious that they would write an article to stress how much the Daily Wire is trolling Disney. And they're not only that, they're probably going to show Disney that what people really want, it's a fairy tale when it comes to these remakes. I mean, if you are thinking about doing a Snow White remake, you think of the magic and the fantasy, and all of that does not seem to be in the newer film. I mean, taking the whole controversy with Rachel and the PR and the fact that she seems to not even like the character and just saying that the movie is just going to be completely different. We don't even have the Seven Dwarfs, and all for the sake of diversity. It's just really weird way of thinking. It felt like Disney has lost its magic, and it feel like they are actually sabotaging their own material. I mean, if they're so concerned about diversity, I'm sure there would be lots of ways to bring diversity to the Snow White movie. But what they want to do, they just want to get the original character and just completely change it for shock's sake, or for shock value, for, I don't know, identity politics and whatever. I mean, we've seen this so many times, and we know that this stuff doesn't work. We know that if you're thinking about an original character like Snow White, you just want to see that fantasy. You want to see just the real representation of the original cartoon. I mean, but that's not what they want to do. They want to change the whole thing because it needs to be to nowadays audience. And I mean, the PR for the Snow White has been just terrible. Rachel has said a lot of really weird stuff. But let's have a look. What is the Daily Wire doing here to troll Disney? Well, first, let's react to the trailer itself, because it's actually very short. It's like a minute long. So without further ado, let's just see this first 2, 3, and bam. Oh, so right off the bat, I gotta say, looks very fairy tale like. Okay. In the woods, red apple, oh, the beautiful dress as well. Animals. Okay, see this if you think Snow White, I think exactly this. A lot of animals and the woods. It looks cinematic as well. And ta-da, there she is. It's a YouTuber, I think her name is Brad Cooper, right? And that's a new Snow White. That is hilarious. Coming soon. Okay, guys. All right. So they're definitely doing the complete opposite of what Disney said they were going to do. I mean, at least we don't know how is the movie going to be or exactly what's going to happen in the movie. What we know is what the actresses have been talking about, right? The PR, that's what we know. And so far, it just doesn't look very good. And here's what the Hollywood Reporter is saying. Conservative media company, the Daily Wire, announced it is making a live-action Snow White movie following right-wing backlash. So the backlash is only right-wing. To be quite honest, I think there are people that are not even involved with politics that might not even like what Disney is doing, but fine, okay, it's only right-wing backlash over the upcoming live-action Snow White. Titled Snow White and the Evil Queen, the movie stars YouTuber Brad Cooper, I was right, that's her name, as the princess in a film based in the original Brothers Grimm fairy tale, which is now in the public domain. So the reason, that's also something really important, right? Because the reason why they can actually do this, it's because it is public domain, so Disney doesn't particularly own the rights. So it is open to public now. So this is actually really hilarious because it definitely comes off as trolling, and it is trolling mostly because it had a really huge backlash. People are just over of this whole narrative that Disney say they want to remake stuff, but they are just losing the magic, and that has nothing to do with the diversity, because they preaching it that all this stuff it's to be progressive because that's what we need, but in fact what they want is just not that. They just want to preach a whole narrative and just change everything that was before. And they're losing their own company on the way. I mean, we know the Disney stocks are not doing very well. The movies are not doing that great. The TV shows, I mean, some are really great and some are succeeding, but overall, Disney isn't doing that well. Something is wrong, and what could be wrong? I mean, they have a gold mine with materials, and every time they want to remake stuff, instead of focusing on the fantasy aspect and honoring the original material, they are just saying that all of this stuff is problematic. But I think the biggest issue here wasn't even the fact that Rachel was cast. Because they could make her look like a Snow White. The problem is, I think, mostly her the way that she was talking about the movie, the PR, the fact that she was saying, the way that she was explaining how Snow White doesn't need a prince, that's just, it's no longer 1932, that is just like, there's just so many stuff that she said. Not only that, the movie's not even gonna have the 7 dwarves, it's gonna be 7 mythical creatures. So basically it's just gonna be a whole completely different thing. They should have just made a new movie and give it a different name. And no, they want to name it Snow White. People want to watch Snow White because they are familiar with Snow White and they're expecting to see something very similar to that fairy tale. But the way that they are talking, you know, especially Rachel, the way that she was talking about this, you really feel like that fairy tale is no longer there, because now it's just about women empowerment. It's no longer about vanity, because the original story was mostly about the evil queen and a Snow White, and she mentions a lot about the prince, because you can't have a prince, you can't have true love, because love is really bad thing. It's just all these messages that are just very messed up, in my opinion. Anyways, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this whole Snow White, the new remake by Daily Wire that are actually trolling Disney. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye.